So today we have a special episode, one that brings innovation, creativity, and struggle all into the one same mission. Today, we find ourselves in a society that lacks education. And that's why we're here today to bring forth a guest, a special guest that I've known for a long time, always treated me well, and since brotherhood, since the young kids, since the sandbox, we've always, grew up from the struggle as well as blossomed from the struggle. And to see my fine brother here today come through and have a story to tell that helps millions and inspires multiple people to become their greatest version, highest version, and a Latino story, this is something you don't want to miss. Today, my brother Mo Trades is coming in and speaking on how to be a self-boss, as well as how to come from somewhere that, how do you even think about being a boss? But we only see stories online and media that hope to inspire us to one day reach the highest levels. Today, my brother's got something unique to tell you, as well as unique opportunities for you to dive into as well, and to find your greatest version here on Eddie Chosen podcast, because this walk is not for everybody, because everybody is called, but not everybody's chosen. So stay tuned for this beautiful episode. My brother, Mo Trades. It's a new name. Back then, it was different. Hey.
Heck yeah.
I know, brother, it's been a while, and really ultimately, this was something that happened, out of the blue. But at the same time, I've been seeing your work, and I had been seeing what you've been putting in, and this was the perfect platform for you to come and speak about your journey, your, early life, and how you identify in this world of chaos, and how you keep your peace, and what keeps you highest level, not only as a man, but as a Latino man at that, right? So dive in a little bit into your early upbringing and what makes you who you are today, and give us a little bit of, who doesn't know you, some knowledge and insight of who you are right now.
Okay. Growing up, my mom, she got pregnant with me at 16. She was a single mom at 17. And, for most of my life, I was seeing her, struggle, work 2 jobs. I feel like that really instilled hard work in me, is, seeing the sacrifices that she made for me, and really wanting to give back to my mom. I don't want to see her work 2 jobs forever, you know what I mean? So that's why we do the things that we do to become better people. And, I really think that there's 2 ways you can look at it. I think that with that upbringing in that specific situation, I can look at it and, do something about it, or I can look at it and kind of be a victim in a sense. It's not about necessarily like the things that are stacked against you. If anything, the more things you have stacked against you, the better that story is going to become. And so, seeing my mom work those 2 jobs, my biological dad was locked up for 10 years, and, I never really had a relationship with him. First time I really got to meet him and learn and see who he was when I turned 18, and I went out to Hyattsville, Maryland. And, I lived out there for a little bit and got to meet him and talk with him. And, it's been really nice having that relationship in my life, for sure. My biological dad's family is from Michoacan, Mexico. And, I also had a stepdad growing up. He came into my life when I was about 7 or 8. And, we have a really good relationship. We still talk to this day, and his family's actually from Guerrero, and I actually lived in Mexico and Guerrero for around 8 months, and it was just such a beautiful experience, man. It was a really beautiful experience to, really stay grounded and humble myself, and know what the most important things in life are. The most important things in life are free, and that's very true. So that's a little bit about my upbringing.
For sure, most definitely. A lot of times we look at a lot of the big things which are around us every day, but we lose sight of the little things, right? And I know for a fact that you're in Guerrero and you're in Mexico, and you're noticing all the little things that you had here in the States that you didn't have in Guerrero, because my family from Venezuela always is talking about it, on how we take for granted all the big stuff. And I know, here today and day, you're providing big courses, big missions, and big things for not only yourself, but your family. But tell me a little bit about the inspirations that inspired and fired you up when you were living in Mexico, and how it's made you and changed you for today.
Yeah, I think really seeing that hard work being instilled in Latinos and Hispanics. You see that they have such a strong work ethic. We're such strong-minded individuals. And I truly think that just applying those characteristics to the right type of opportunities and things, you can really flourish. The world is yours, and I just want the people to remember that, because the opportunity's there. It's up to you to take it. And even if you don't feel like an opportunity is there, then you got to go make one.
Exactly. So when you're making these opportunities, I feel like once I was working in warehouses and places that didn't fill my heart and soul, coming straight out of high school, I know a lot of us are lost and don't know where to go. But I know that you had a couple jobs that were not ideal for your highest version. And we want to know more about how these jobs and these slave jobs really affect your mind, and how it caused you to be who you are, and what brings that fire into day trading really.
Yeah. That's a pretty loaded question. But yeah, after high school, I started working at the oil refineries and gold mines, working for the same company, but I was doing concrete, fireproofing, fiberglass work. I would repair acid tanks and just a bunch of crazy stuff like that. But sometimes, at the end of the day, it's, you guys got a job to get done, and you got to get that job done by any means necessary sometimes. And personally, I just wanted to be my own boss, really. I just wanted to be able to tell myself, okay, I'm done working for the day, or I got to do this for the family, or I got to help someone out and do this. I don't want to have an obligation to, oh, I have to work until this time. I think about freedom, and really freedom for me is just being able to do what I want whenever I want. And day trading really provides that. Working at the mines, I was working 10, 12-hour days, and it was hard, to be honest. It really was tough, but I had a vision, and I'd been working on this vision for a year before anyone even heard about my vision,
Right.
And then it took me even longer to really make that vision a reality.
Right.
And and it starts by the little things. I truly believe that getting little wins in life, it builds momentum, and I believe that momentum is one of the strongest forces in the universe. I truly believe that, and it's about taking those little wins day to day that are going to eventually amount to a big win for you. And that's where I think being Latino really helps, because we have that hard work, we have that work ethic, and we have that mind state where we can just put our head down and just work and work and then work some more. So if you combine that with the right opportunities and using, the right job, and, whatever the case may be, you can really go far. But you got to get those little wins, and it'll just add up like a snowball. It'll be a snowball effect.
For sure. And one thing that we have within our culture is a lot of us get taught really our habits. Our habits is what we become. And within our culture and our mentality, we have that hard work ethic that makes us really unique in a sense. There's no one really quite like us. Our culture, everything about us is unique. And that leads us to, want a unique future for ourselves. And I see that you've always wanted something bigger. And a lot of times you have to let go to grow, so you can find more things that you have to let go of what no longer serves you to bring in what does serve you. So in this process, I know there's a lot of experience in what causes you to be who you are. But which one was the hardest day in that you woke up and you're like, nah, I need something different?
Yeah, the straw that broke the camel's back, as they call it.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh man, I feel like I had a few of those days, but one in particular, I was working up at a mine up here in Utah. If you're a local, you'll know what mine I'm talking about. It's a copper mine, but there was a leak in one of the pipes, and we were repairing it, and the water just kept dripping. It was hard for us to bond the fiberglass to it, and it actually took us 16 hours. I was there for 16 hours. I was just absolutely tired, beat down. I think it was like Thursday or Friday. Like it was like the end of the work week. I'd already had a long work week, and I'm driving back from Kennecott, and yeah, yeah, we'll cut. But I was driving back from the mine, and I was about 5 minutes to my house, and I was actually just right by Jeremy's, and I was on the phone with my mom and just talking to her about my day. She was working at the hospital. She's a nurse. Shout out, Mom. I love you so much. You're such a hard worker, and yeah, I appreciate everything you've done for me. So I just want to give you a shout out, and I want you to know I love you so much, and I would not be where I am today without you. So just want to leave.
We love our moms.
Yeah.
Shout out, Mama.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was talking to my mom. I was on the phone, and then I was about 5 minutes from my house, and boom, my transmission goes out, and I get a text from my boss right after, like 5 minutes after, and he's like, "Hey, like I need you to be at the shop tomorrow, extra early, like 4:30, 5 a.m." And I didn't get off work until like 10:30. I think it might have been even 11 that I got off. 11 p.m. and he's asking me to be at work at 4:35 a.m. My transmission just blew out. I don't even know how I'm gonna get to work. And so that was definitely the moment for me. That was a very hard moment. But as I said before, it's those moments, you're gonna either take that and kind of be a victim to that, or you're gonna rise above that, and it's going to be a great story that you tell one day.
Absolutely. Journeying into trading, these little things that make your mind sharper and stronger, we learn through experience, and sometimes those experiences is what shapes a strong man, a strong being. The hardships. Journeying into trading, tell me about the first day that you're like, no, this is how I'm going to change my life.
Yeah, no, I think I had a coworker, and he was day trading, and I would talk to him every day about it. Shout out my boy Billy. That's another shout out I got to give out, my boy Billy. But yeah, we were working together, and we would talk about day trading, and he introduced me to what it was, and he explained, how to leverage capital, with using prop firms, which I do have a video out on my Discord. If you guys want to learn about any of that, I do have that. The link will be in the description below. But just really learning how you can leverage that capital, and it kind of almost felt like a cheat code to me. I was kind of like, oh wait, I'm a hard worker, and if I just apply it to the right thing, I'm gonna be able to be successful. And it's a high paying job, and it takes a lot of discipline and hard work, and I knew that I already had that instilled in me, as many Latinos do. And, I figured, why not me?
Absolutely. We all know that education is the future of our generation. We all know that. Whoa, if you don't know yet, day trading is a steep learning curve. There's so many components, so many things inside of trading, day trading, stocks, crypto, all of this stuff that involve capital and money. Like, it's a challenge for a lot. Even for myself, I'm learning as I go, but forward progress is the best path, So give us a little bit of a rundown about your course, your day trading, and something brief so a viewer can look at that and hear it and be like, that's tangible. That's a tangible thing I can step into, and you even follow your course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I will say, the first thing I will put out there is, this stuff took me over a year to learn, and there's 2 videos that really helped me learn this. So if you don't have, any money to pay for a mentorship, and you just want to work hard just like I did, and you just want a chance to make it, there's 2 videos you need to look at. You need to watch the TJR Bootcamp, and that link will be in the description. Both of these videos will. And there's an ICT 2022 mentorship. If you can watch those videos and take notes, and you backtest and you work hard using those concepts, you can be successful with day trading. And that's gonna, the learning curve for that will probably be a year or over a year, like it took me, right? But in my course, I basically have everything consolidated. I have a strategy, I have risk management, I have psychology. All these are aspects of what makes a profitable day trader. And so if you want to, make that learning curve from a year and a half to maybe a year, or just 2 years to, 3 to 6 months, well, that's where I can come in and I can help you do that. I actually have a testimonial. It's about me bringing I think he was like 38 or 39 years old. He didn't know anything about the market. He didn't really know how to work the computer, but he came to me and he wanted me to be his mentor, and I said, let's do it. I got you. And I was able to get him profitable in under 3 months, and from him not knowing a thing. So that just goes to show what I'm teaching and what I have in there is very valuable, but it's also going to take consistency, discipline, hard work, and you're going to have to change your internal thought process. And with doing those things, you can be successful.
So day trading, we want to know, basically what I'm curious too, as I learn and progress within this, what is day trading?
So
ultimately,
essentially, you're buying and selling contracts and these contracts I trade the NASDAQ, and that is a culmination of the United States, their top 100 companies. So you're trading the contract value of those top 100 companies in the US.
I see. So you're saying it's a lot of internal work that needs to be switched, rewired, things of that nature. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that one of the things that really helped me on my journey was, being prepared to make this switch from, my 9 to 5 working at the mines to be a day trader. One thing that helped me is being prepared and saving up my finances so that I could make that jump without stress. And the reason why I say that is because one thing that a lot of traders run into is, they try to get rich off of one trade, but you're not going to get rich off of one trade. You need base hits. You don't need home runs. Base hits is what you look for. And it's kind of like me going back to earlier. What I was saying is, we're going for little wins each day, and we're stacking those wins, and eventually you look up and you won big.
It's a marathon.
So
for sure.
the greed can cause you to to make bad decisions, not being patient. You're not being patient in waiting for the right setup that fits our strategy that we do. These are important factors that if you don't have this internal correct, you will not, it will show on the external, it will show on the charts. You will look at the chart and you will know exactly where you're lacking emotionally, psychology,
For sure.
So
what was that turning point within your consistency that made you realize like this can actually be a career for you?
The turning point was, after months and months of backtesting and hard work, I was able to become profitable backtesting and over an extended period of time. And I think that, a lot of day traders get into the space and they rush the process. This is a journey, and it's going to take some time, and, you have to take the proper steps. You can't go from step 1 to step 100 in one day. As much as we would love to do that, that's just not the way that it works. And, just definitely putting the work in and backtesting. And also not only just backtesting, while you're working on the chart, you also need to be working on your emotional and your psychological. You need to understand and make these little flips and stack those little wins so that by the time you are, trading live in the market, trying to pass evaluations or whatever the case may be, you have these emotions already instilled in you from the journey that you've taken from working hard and being disciplined, even when the motivation is not there.
Right. I know a lot of us as Latinos, a lot of times, most of us grow up with that mentality with the work hard with your hands, which there's no issue in that. Hustling and getting your own bag any way that you can, is going to be your startup for anything in life, especially with trading, because you need that money to invest into your future within the trading because you're investing your money, selling and buying.
Mhm.
So when it comes down to that work with your hands mentality, how was that process of you breaking those chains in that program of saying, no, I'm taking a different route?
Yeah, no, that was actually that was a really hard thing in my journey, and it was one of the biggest steps that I could have taken, that really helped me. And I at the oil refineries and the gold mines, and I was working with all these hardworking Latino people, and I have so much love for my people. I think about them all the time. I shoot them a text, shoot them a call. Like I love my people from the oil refineries and the mines. But being there firsthand with them and understanding, like, what I'm not changing, I'm accepting. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with living that life if that's what you choose. But for me, I don't choose and I don't want to live my life that way. So, I was trying to just do what I could to get out of that, essentially. And the way that I was able to do that was, I had a vision. I had a vision for years. This podcast, is 30 minutes, an hour long, but this took years. And, I just wish people could really see the journey, because the emotion that you feel from going through that journey and being with those people, it's such a beautiful thing. And I will appreciate and cherish every single moment that I got to have, working out in the field. And I really understood, like, this wasn't what I wanted. And, I think that, we sometimes we get programmed a certain way to believe that these things are right. I grew up in a Latino household, and I kind of know how it goes. If you're Latino,
Like, you know, you know.
if you know, you know what I mean. And those that know, I won't have to explain, man. And sometimes you have to really trust yourself, to take that step, to believe in yourself, to know that you're on your right path for what you want to create for your life. Because we have parents or coworkers, or they want the best for you, but the best for you is what they see from their own eyes and not what you see for yourself. And I think keeping that in mind is very important, in knowing what you want, trusting that you can make it happen, and then putting in the work to make those things happen.
Absolutely. There's a lot of beauty, especially beauty in the eyes of the beholder. There's a lot of beauty being in a Latin household. There is. However, I do believe there's space for us to reach higher levels and open up pathways to show the media, show people that we are more than meets the eye. When it comes down to money, investments, investing, and financial independence, these aren't subjects that aren't usually talked within the common Latino household. And you bringing your story, a strong Latino story, and seeing that you are day trading and you're carving a path to be your own boss, especially coming from places of refinery, mining, and jobs that take labor and are tough, but honestly, they have good rewards. They have a lot of good payments that come in for the hard work. So taking that route and then in turn saving and now investing into a way more lively path of day trading that takes a different type of mental work to make this function, right? I believe that you are on the way to financial independence. However, I do believe we need to speak more on these subjects so we could take our game to the next level. And seeing you do this, how do you envision your future within this day trading?
My future in day trading, I obviously day trading every day. I mean, it's something that I don't even look at as a job. It's something that I truly love. And another thing that, I've come to realize is I truly love teaching. I truly love teaching and seeing people grow. I think that has been something that's just, it's so rewarding for me. Like seeing someone become the best version of themselves is one of the most beautiful things that you can watch. And so I think another thing in my future is just teaching, teaching the people I love, teaching people who, want to learn. I love to give all my knowledge out and just help the people that were in the situation that I was once in.
And those are the things that keep you motivated on this path, is looking for all the beauty and also knowing who treats you with beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Having a circle of real ones around you is the key word that we have here, is that you become your environment. And those dark days or those hard days that keep you distracted, now you're focused. Along that journey, what are things that, what's your key things that keep you focused now, day full-time day trading?
The things that keep me focused is, well, one, what I do, day trading, I truly just have such a love and a passion for. Like I can't wait to wake up at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and get up out of bed. Like I absolutely love it. I'm ready to just go on the chart, do what I need to do, be my best self, show myself I can be my best self every day, and then reap some financial reward from that is it's a very beautiful thing, and I'm very blessed for that. Something that keeps me focused is going to the gym every day, eating healthy, because these are the little wins that I've been talking about throughout this episode. Is those little wins every day. I know that me making those little wins is going to lead up to a big one, and it always has, it always will. And it can be something as simple as I want to go take the dogs for a walk. I'm going to take the dogs for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go play basketball today, and I'm going to go do it. It's going to better my health. It's going to make me feel good. You got to do things that really put you in a good mood. If we're being transparent, I used to drink a lot, and that was kind of that was a really big issue for me. And one of the big things is my environment, like Jeremy was saying, is very key. The people that you're around can really have a big effect on you. And so now I'm kind of just like a homebody. I, work in the morning, go to the gym, and then I take the dogs for a walk, and and I just live at home, man. I just chill. I don't. There's nothing fancy about it. I'm just happy with what I'm doing, and I just am constantly on the pursuit of progress, and the pursuit of happiness is just right there in front of you.
That's a beautiful perspective. It's beautiful. Looking back, because the past is in the casket. I'm shooting so high, we slam it in the basket. Looking back, when you look back to the past, how's your past self? What would you say your past self is looking now in the future with you putting the stars in the basket?
Oh man, I think my past self is just so proud of, like just very proud of me, and becoming what I'm destined to become. I truly believe that I went through all the lessons that I went through, and it was divinely orchestrated by God Himself, or the universe, if that's what you think, or I'm not here to talk about that, but the higher power, God, the universe, whatever it is. I think that these lessons these lessons were divinely orchestrated, and I think that it all happened for a reason, and all these lessons have come back full circle for me, and I've just been so grateful for that.
What advice would you give to other brothers just like us, other brothers and sisters, other Latin, other brown folks, other Latinos that are trapped, or so-called, trapped within the long hours, the rat race, the 9 to 5s, the matrix? What advice would you give them to break out of that?
I would say the first thing is, really deciding what you want. With social media and all these jobs and all these things that people do, there's a million things that you can do in this world. Day trading is not the only answer. It's not the answer for everybody. It's not going to be the answer for everybody that watches this video. But understand what it is that you want. And the only way that you can understand what it is that you want is if you really try and put your all into something. And if it doesn't work, you'll understand that you didn't leave that stone unturned on your journey, and you're able to move forward in your life knowing this wasn't for me, right? You don't want to look back on your life in 10, 20, 30 years and say, well, dang, what if I would have done that? What if I would have at least tried it? So identifying what it is that you want, having that vision, being around like-minded people, gaining these small wins, hard work, dedication, trust and belief in yourself. And then when it's time to go all in, you got to roll the dice and bet all on yourself.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it, is rolling the dice and not being tied to what it can be, but being tied to who you are. And due to who you are, you'll change the way you think, feel, imagine, and that changes the reality outside of you. Rolling the dice is the beautiful part, because we must love the journey more than the destination, because in the journey you become who you're meant to be. In the destination, well, you look back and be like, wow, that thing, this thing, or that thing is what caused me to be who I am today. You'll be grateful for that, for sure. And we acknowledge that. Along this journey, how would you want people to remember you, Mo Trades, and your legacy? How do you want your family to remember you, and people of the city and the world and the industry and society of day trading?
Not only day trading, but also just me as a person in general. I think I want people to remember me as, being someone that inspired them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the greatest action is to inspire.
Yes, lie, yeah.
And
I
feel like, eventually it gets to, you get to a certain level where you realize the people before you laid out that path for you. And by those people laying out that path for you, they're inspiring you, and they're a walking prophecy. And that's essentially what I want to do. Is I want to inspire, my family, my friends, and people around the world. And, I want them to know that whoever you are, whatever you're going through, you can be successful in whatever way that is for you. But it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. We're hungry. We're hungry to grow, elevate, and take our game to the next level. We're hungry to see what day trading does. So we want to see your link. We want to see your course. A lot of us want to, dive more into day trading and see how it can change our lives, not only ours, but our families. From the looks of it and from listening, you get to be your own boss. You get to have your own hours. You get to change and grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally. There's a lot of components in this that takes you to a better and higher level of a chosen self and a higher self. Now we're all called, but are you going to be chosen? Start today by choosing yourself. There's a lot of things that you want to do for your future. Start today, because the best time to plant a seed was yesterday. The second best time is today. Watch it grow, watch it develop, just like you're developing and growing. My brother, Mo Trades, thank you for coming by to the special conversation of Los Chosen Podcast.
Hey, I appreciate it. It was a blessing. I'm just happy to be here, man.
For sure, man. We're excited to see your future. You're coming right back to this.
Yeah.
So we want everybody to like, comment, subscribe. We're definitely going to take this to the highest level of a chosen level and bring this platform to a space where not only people just like yourselves or people around the world could have a platform, but also a lifestyle, an idea, and a theory that we could all be chosen by choosing it. So stay walking that chosen path. And with that being said, brother, stay chosen.
Hey, stay chosen.
Let's do it.